It is a dark place we have come to. I can hear the sorrows of our brothers and sisters. They are crying out with each sword stroke. Saturnin has tainted this place. We must head deeper into the hall. Behind the great cavern there's a holdfast sealed with mighty doors. The rebels will be there, and likely Saturnin as well. Farewell. Look! That must be the leader, Saturnin! That was the leader. It must have been Saturnin. And if he's heading in there, that must be where the rest of the House of Sorrows are. We have to get past this door. We need to stop him before the rebels are all killed. The Fallen Hall is a fortress in the Phalanx. To get to its heart, we will need to open 3 great doors. There should be 2 other sigil stones that we can use in addition to the one before us. They will grant us passage. The Fallen Hall is well known in these lands for its strong defenses. There are 3 sigil stones that control the Holdfast's mighty doors. They are strewn throughout the hall. Activate all of them and the path to the Holdfast will be open. Farewell.
Yeah. I wish to taste Oh, this is splendid. I was worried I would have nothing left to see to after I slaughtered these wretches. Saturnin, you use that name so freely, but your little guess is wrong. I am not Saturnin. I am but a blade that Saturnin has employed in his war. And now, that blade turns on you. You are more amusing than I originally believed, but my master has given me instructions to spare you. Saturnin has a message for you to deliver to your master. This war is over. Soon the Sorrows will belong to the Tuatha.
I can scarcely believe it. All this death, all this destruction, and we have nothing to show for it. No Saturnin, no safety. The Weeping King left the world with good cause, for all that is left of the House of Sorrows is ruin. We must return to Bizring with this news. He will want to know what has happened here. Farewell.
Speak. Saturnin, this latest wound he has dealt may be fatal. He need only for us to succumb, and then he can find these sorrows. So that is what we will deny him. Let our losses harden our resolve. Where once we sought victory, we shall now seek attrition. I have told you of the burden that every Winter Fae carries from their birth. We are to embody death and decay in our very essence. For centuries, the Delvers of the House of Sorrows have been harvesting this essence from their winter brethren to relieve them of this burden. This amalgam of magic and emotion was collected and concentrated into a single powerful source, the Sorrows. And Saturnin wishes to turn that magic on the mortal armies. It is a difficult magic for a mortal mind to grasp, but the accumulation of centuries of sorrows is a fearsome weapon indeed. The burden of a single lifetime of sorrows can be debilitating. Their impact can instill madness or drive a life to end itself. Saturnin would hold a millennium of sorrows. With them, he could obliterate an army's morale and send them from victory to bedlam. Their location is an ancient secret. Only two Fae, the eldest, know. They left the house centuries ago to reside in Amalur. The way to them is blocked by the Great Scale, a mighty spell which you must bypass. That alone will open your path to the eldest. You must kill beasts on the pans of the scale. Death is the only weight it will bear. They know where the sorrows, Saturnin's true target, reside. We must rouse them from their reverie and learn from them. To reach them, one must brave the road southward to Amalur and pass the Great Scale. The sorrows are an accumulation of the destructive magic that the house has siphoned from the Winter Fae over centuries of existence. The Delvers of the house did this to enable the Winter Fae to create the Court of Winter, but knowledge of the art and the sorrows' location are lost. Still, the sorrows represent a monstrous collection of magical energy. We must deny Saturnin access to it. Kael'Rod and Alarain are two of the oldest Fae in the Winter Realm. So old that they predate the house itself. With the death of the house's original ruler, the Weeping King, they fled. Their devotion was to the sorrows, not to winter. It is a manifestation of magic that prevents intruders from disturbing the perpetual reverie of the eldest. From what I understand, the sides of the room take the role of a scale, and whoever wishes passage must use death itself to manipulate the scale. The only weight the pans of the scale will acknowledge is death. When something dies on the scale, it will shift you one step closer to the eldest.
Faithful, a child of dust is here for death. Grant their pitiful wish. Enoch watches over you and blesses you with her unyielding rage. So long shall we tolerate the life. We will carry on when you are dust.
Time to perish, mortal!
So, the undying mortal from the well has returned. Your mere existence is an abomination against all things. How can you not see this? A child of dust who lives after death. A creature separated from your fate. A being with neither purpose nor reason. You were a mistake. A new way mortals found to pervert the world. Soon you shall be cleansed from my lands. Mortals stole the secrets of magic, and now they come to take our land. But all that they find here shall be death.
Let us tempt fate!
You struggle against the force of a simple army. How will you fare, I wonder, against the power of a god? Of course you aren't. You may be a foolish, unclean sin against the natural order, but I'll grant that you're no coward. The only solution is for you to be cleansed when Tiernok the Merciful comes to our world. Soon. Who dares to stand against Tiernok? Strike her down and salt the earth of her grave. Nothing may live lest Tiernok commands it.
Another dustling for the car.
Dragons shall see to it personally. Try as you might, struggle as you will, you are deluded. There is no winning for you, only death. Yes, but death as you define it means little to us. The great cycle returns, each to offer as to offer again. And every time they do, Tiernok gets stronger. Soon, she will be born into this world. You will witness her power personally, and it will be the last thing your mortal flesh shall ever feel.
discovered the greatest heights of magical power. I achieved everything and anything I desired, except to find one of them again. And inevitably, someone would remind me through their ugliness that somewhere, something as beautiful and perfect as that divine spirit existed. People will hurt you. People will try to use you. But this thing was different. Yes, I could trust it, and it would protect me from the callousness of others.
How curious. You are mortal, but your steps resound with a burden greater than any one mortal might ever hope to bear. More curious still is your presence here. The great scale is not idly moved, nor is my reverie broken without cause. What is your purpose? Of the Weeping King's disciples, we were the first. Standing on the edge of the midden, we bore witness to him, transforming our people into something more. We vowed to never let that memory fade. Though death did call, we remained in this world, so that the knowledge of the Weeping King persisted. Along with the Weeping King, it was Kael'rod with whom I watched the rise of winter. We were fated to be the first Tender and Delver. I think too long have we been in these contemplations, isolated. When this affair is over, I think we will reunite in earnest. They are the heart of this collective. A Delver can take the sorrows into their being like the Weeping King did. Becoming a Delver means mastering his art. In the beginning, it venerated death. But in time, the house was revered by Winter Fae for its sacrifice. The sorrows, they were meant to stand as a monument to the work of the house. And now they stand on being used as a tool for war. Despicable. Of that order, I was the first. I had the strength to answer the Weeping King and take the burden of other Fae, but I could not hear the sorrows within them. And so I was to honor the midden and tend its depths, so that nature would forever know that we have honored her call for decay. Kael'rod and I have lived long in this world, it is true. But our choice was not driven by some manner of self-preservation. It was to learn. All Fae return their life energy to Ashara on death. But the nature of Winter Fae, their essence, lies in the decomposition and decay of all things. Kael'rod and I have forsaken being reborn anew to embrace the rotting of the corporeal world among us. That is where nature truly lies. And so I am finally exhumed, but Bizarane is not the King of Sorrows from whom I hoped to draw summons. Indeed, I know the location of the Sorrows. They were never meant to be retrieved, but neither were they meant to be exploited. Before I go, I must request that you rouse my counterpart, Kael'rod. The ages have sent our paths together. I will not break it now. A penance of sorts. Long ago, Kael'rod and I served the Weeping King. Of Tenders and Delvers, we were the first. But the Weeping King soon left this world for Ashara. And when he did, the house stopped serving death and began serving the court of winter. That was not what we followed the Weeping King for. So we came here to contemplate death. It is what the Weeping King would have intended. When we first came to this place, we vowed we would not see each other until our contemplations were complete. I thought that day would never come. As I was on one side of the scale, you will find him on the other. I will leave this cell and wait for you to find him. He is on the other side of the great scale. You will need to rebalance the scale to reach him. The first king of the House of Sorrows, and perhaps the greatest winter fae to walk these lands. He taught us to delve and to bear the burden of winter. But when the realms of winter were freed of this burden, the Weeping King left this world, never to return. It has been long since that transpired. So long, in fact, that I cannot even recall his face or his presence. But it was powerful. Being in his presence was to know the sorrow of our race. Goodbye. You have come.
Sorrow precedes you, mortal. It is almost enough to shift the great scale on its own. It has been centuries since my reverie was last disturbed. For what cause are you here? What could a mortal possibly want with me? I was another of the wretches that the Weeping King saved when he first walked into the Feylands. When he pulled the rot of winter from me, I learned how I too could do the same. So I learned the finer points of his magic, and followed him as the first Delver. Amalur and I have been apart for some time. I think it will be good when this business is over to resume our meditations together. Though all of the house are the followers of the Weeping King, the Delvers are his true disciples. They can delve into the sorrows of another, just as he did. The Sorrows are the inheritance of the House of Sorrows, so to speak. We have been working at delving for centuries, collecting and shaping this magic. But we had never thought that it could be exploited. Do the Tuatha revere nothing? It was formed as a way to keep the winter traditions of decay and rot while building a winter court. But in time, we lost true sight of what the essence of winter was. They are Alarain's orders. In many ways, they are the stewards of the House of Sorrows, while delvers deal in the spiritual, tenders see to the corporeal. That moniker holds no meaning to a true Fae. What is age to the ageless, to the immortal? Among our kind he was, and he remains singular. None could do now what he did, to naturally find the sorrows in others and delve into their being. And though he formed the House of Sorrows, though he saw the birth of the Court of Winter, he did not remain. By choice or fate, he went to Ashara, never to return. I think this war has exhausted all other Winter Fae who knew the Weeping King as he walked. But though Alarain and I remain, I can scarce recall him. I have heard of your work in reaching Alarain. If she wishes to aid this King of Sorrows, then I will echo her approval. But learning the location of the Sorrows is not merely answering a question asked. More than knowledge will be needed to reach the Sorrows. We will meet her in time. You must be patient, mortal. Very well. And so the eldest look upon each other once more. It has been some time since I have seen Alarain, mortal. For that I am thankful. But Bizarrain will need more than knowledge to reach Sorrows. He will need a key which lies in Sincere, the hollow of the Weeping King. That is correct. It is a difficult thing to ask of a mortal. A Fae would be better suited to navigate the hollow. But time is fleeting. But you will not perform this task alone. One of us will aid in recovering the key from Sincere, and the other will instruct Bizarrain on how to reach the Sorrows. It falls to you to choose. Not for your end goal. Both of us are familiar with the Weeping King's Hollow. But I wield magic, and Alarain her Fae blades. It will be a hard road, mortal. We can complement your skills or bolster them. Let it be so. She will accompany you to Sincere, and I will return to the House of Sorrows to instruct Bizarrain on how to claim the Sorrows. I wish you luck in your task, mortal. Keep well after Alarain. Very well.
Then we leave Kelrod to the instruction of this King of Sorrows. It is perhaps the best choice. It is suited to him after all. I will shadow step to Sincere and wait for you there. We must move quickly. Goodbye.
Through the woods and mountainside, through the hollows and green meadow, through the summer, winter, day and night, through the hallowed halls of seasons and song, through the vengeance, pride and sorrow, echo the footfalls of the greaves of the Fae Hunter.
The hunter runs. Swiftly, swiftly for our lives. A mortal skirt of chain. A mesh of links forged in secret. The hunter runs, in the chausses of the Fae Hunter.
By the gods, it was horrible. He killed them all, and nothing could stop him. It was Dren, that freak who guards the House of Pride. He told us to leave, but we thought we could beat him. He's just one Fae, and not even a Tuatha, but nothing hurt him, and he slaughtered us all. The worst thing was, he seemed sorry to kill us. We'd heard the legends of Dren the Bloody, unbeatable defender of the House of Pride, but you know how Fae are with their stories. We were going to be the ones who beat him, and opened the path to Alabastra for the army. We were going to be heroes, you know? Then Dren told us to turn around or we'd die. And God's help us, we didn't turn around. We thought so too. We were wrong.
Like the gilded ghosts of youth, the curving plates of Fae-like scrolls decorate the life's guard of this impostor. It says, "I am like you, Fae Spirit," and shimmers with a brilliant gleam. This cuirass of the Fae Hunter. At last, you come, and we can recover the key. I knew the Tuatha had taken hold of Cluricon, but I never thought it would be like this. When I last walked here, it was a solemn place, but beautiful. Kind Fae tended to the corners and halls. Now it lies silent, corrupted, and sullied. But we cannot dwell on what has transpired. To reach the key to the sorrows, we must first seek 3 votives in addition to this one. They will grant us passage. We must go deeper still into Sincere. The way is not open, however, to one that does not bear the proper votives. The votives were originally borne by Fae that tended this hollow, but I think they are held by something more sinister now. Goodbye. gathered all the votives. Then we may continue onward to the next trial we must face, the Crying Eyes. When we reach them, then I will tell you more on the subject. They are deeper in the dungeon. Press forward and we shall reach them. Goodbye. The way is clear. Come, let us press onward. There is still another challenge to overcome. Before we can reach the key, we must bypass the Crying Eyes. Then the key to the Sorrows will be ours again. Goodbye. Here, we have reached the Crying Eyes. When this hollow was first shaped, those statues did not weep. But now they weep for all eternity. They alone guard the way to the key. You must approach them, mortal. They will show you the way forward, if only you answer them. Approach the Crying Eyes and observe. They show you the knowledge you need to advance. Answer what they ask, and we shall be free to continue. Goodbye. You have come. You have come. You have come. That is the key to the Sorrows, mortal. It is perhaps not the sort you are used to, but that is certainly it. It is a branch of the ancient and wizened tree whose roots touch this world and Ashara, the plane of magic to which all Fae belong. It is a branch of the Gallows Tree. The Sorrows take the form of the Gallows Tree in both realms, and this branch creates the bridge between them. Come, let us ferry it to Bizarang. Goodbye.
Speak. You have the key to the Sorrows. That was well done. Indeed, everything you have done is more than I could have possibly hoped for. My reliance on you to this point was never my initial plan. I only needed Kadarok dead at the hands of someone else. But when I learned how willing you were to hound the Tuatha, I saw you would rise to every occasion. You became my faithful instrument. How could Saturnin have eluded the minds of so many for these long years? Simple. He was a ruse. His existence was fabricated. While all eyes watched for Saturnin, another was free to wage his war. Namely, me. All for the glory of Gadflow and our god. When you killed the Baelor, I saw an opportunity to end the House and the mortal armies simultaneously. You became my road to a perfect victory. True, I do not share the face of my brethren. As I explained to Gadflow, it was a necessary part of the plan. I have not worn this mask without sacrifice. Too long have I gone without feeling the warmth of Prismeer or the love of my god. But soon this will end, and I can take my rightful place again. Your ignorance of Fey culture, meaning your intonation, made you ideal. You lacked the context others might have used to expose me. But there is more. You are the hero of Mel Senshir. You may not admit it, but you are a symbol to mortals, a rallying point for their armies. Who better to be the blade that I used to kill the Alfar? Who better to destroy the House of Sorrows? It makes my triumph complete. Perfect. You mean, why not announce my intent in a more obvious and boorish, or shall we say, mortal manner? I had to have the Sorrows, but they were lost. It took years before I even learned of the Eldest, much less their location. To reach the Eldest, I needed this house to die. To do that, I needed a rebellion. To do that, I needed an assassination. To do that, I needed you. You threaten me with death as though it is some great finality. We might both testify to the contrary. I will excuse your inevitable resistance, but if you have any sense, then you already know that you cannot reach me nor follow me. We part ways here. Find comfort, at least, that you will be long dead before the Sorrows flood the minds of your mortal armies. Mercer will cut you down here. Farewell.
For better or worse, I know not. The house is in ruins, the eldest lie butchered, and Bizerain has betrayed us to the Tuatha. He must be denied. For our honored sorrow, our broken pride, our due vengeance. He cannot be allowed to use the house for war. He is at the birthplace of summer and winter, where the Weeping King first pooled the anguish and decay inherent in all winter Fae, Ashara. It is the plane from which all Fae descend when they are reborn, and to which they return when they die. It is a place of pure magic. I fear you may have had enough of secrets, but here is mine. I am the Weeping King reborn. Bizerain needed a key to reach the Sorrows. I do not. I did not always know. When you went to Damelrock, I meditated beneath the gallows tree, and a part of me that had long slumbered awakened. It makes sense now, why I could practice delving, when all had lost the art, why I can commune with sorrows. Be it fate or chance, we must take advantage of this. I think that as the Weeping King, I can bring us to the sorrows in time to stop Bizarane. It is both near and far. It will be difficult for a mortal to understand. Ashara is an ethereal plane, another realm of existence. In the Midden, the barrier between this realm and Ashara is weak, and we can exploit that. I do not know what will happen if I attempt to bring you into Ashara, but you have a strong will. That alone may save you. Bizarane has a head start on us. However short, it is likely still enough. Be on your guard. We must hurry.